Yo, what's up everybody, Nice with you here, bringing you Fairy Tail Final Season Anime Review. This is episode 317, titled Dark Future. This was a very hype episode. It was battle heavy and build up at the same time. It was done very well. Something that Fairy Tail does very well, which a lot of people don't bring up. They love to bring down its faults, but they don't really bring up the things that it's good at, which is building hype and making good characters. It doesn't always come out how it should, but it is what it is. But we have Gray about to use the lost ice shield, and we found out that his is stronger from before because he had found some lost magic that he had added into it. Now they don't specify completely, but in the manga they did, and basically the lost magic that he found was to not just make the magic stronger, but it also makes everyone forget about his existence when he passes. So regardless if he passes away by like dying from natural causes or by selling himself away in the ice like he was going to, everybody that was close to Gray was gonna forget his existence, except Zeref, who would have been stuck in ice and drained of his power forever. But that keeps going. So this is a way stronger ice shield than the one that Yor used, or the one that Leon was trying to use before. So just keep that in mind, that Gray actually had a powerful spell that he could actually use to take out anybody, and it just cost himself at the process, literally. And on top of that, everyone will forget about him. So it's like he can do this good deed and this powerful achievement, but he won't get no credit for it. But the reason why he did this is not because he didn't want credit. He didn't want anyone to remember him, so there can be no more tears. Because there's been enough tears and bloodshed on both sides. And as he's doing this, he started thinking of Yor, his teacher, and she's like, stop it. And he's like, I can't, I must do this. And she's like, stop it. And he's like, I'm sorry teacher, I just can't. This is the only way. I see you soon. Then the third time, her lips moved, but it wasn't her voice. We actually heard Natsu stop it, and we see Natsu over him grabbing his arm in the back of his head and waking him up because he's like on the floor unconscious. And he starts to burn everything in Fairytail. Nothing gets touched on fire, but he releases that fire aura to cancel out the ice spell that Gray just used. And we have this really sad moment between Natsu and Gray, where Natsu actually admitted it to Gray. Don't you see me as your friend? And he starts to cry while he's saying this, and this shocks Gray. And Erin, Zeref from the back, like, I wasn't expecting this. And Lucy and Happy just walked in, and they kind of sad too, seeing Natsu like this, because this is a side of Natsu that he never showed to anyone, especially to Gray, because Gray always been his friend, but he treated him more as a rival, and he just kept the friendship to a minimum. But now that he's showing his true emotion, Gray's kind of like he's like stuck. He didn't know what to do, and he was like, yeah, of course, but I almost attacked my own guildmate, and I almost killed him. This is my punishment. And Natsu screamed back at him, I almost did too. So we both deserve to be punished. And Gray finally gave in, and he realized, what I'm doing is stupid. We have to find another way. But Zeref, of course, interrupted and was like, the only way for you to beat me was to use Ice Shield. Because no matter what, if I die, Natsu's gonna die. If you steal me away, he's gonna die. If I win, he's going to die. No matter what, Natsu is going to die. That was basically the whole point of the whole scenario. That if you don't stop him with the ice shield, Natsu's going to die regardless. But since Natsu stopped Gray from using the ice shield, and Gray's already hurt and drained of power, most likely he won't be able to use the ice shield no more. So their only hope just went out the window. Of course, it's Fairy Tail. Let's be real. We all know at the end of the day, the good guys always win. But it's just how it's done or presented. That's the problem. Sometimes it's done good, sometimes it's depends on what side of the fence you're on. But as they talking and getting this, whole thing on, we get Natsu and Zeref. They kind of like throw hands a little bit, and at one point it looked like Natsu had the upper hand, but then you can tell that Zeref powered up because his eyes went black with the little swerves, and he kicked Natsu into a wall, and he laughed, and he was like, you lost the power you once had to beat me. You lost Igneo's power. And he was like, that's cool because I have my own power to beat you. And when they both staring each other down, something in the sky is approaching. And I'm like, oh boy, I know who this must be. And it approaches very fast. But it wasn't his human form, not his dragon form. And if you don't know who I'm talking about the Actilogia. He actually ran down in front of Fairytail, which, if you don't know, Fairytail is actually the dorm for all the females in Fairytail. That's where they live at. And he actually crash landed there. Because that's actually where the battle took place between Wendy and Ezra versus Rain. So he gets there, and he, as you see in one of my thumbnails, he just passes by them like it's nothing. But they can't speak, they can't move, they can't do nothing, they just freeze. And he kicks Rain over, because she's face down on the floor, so he kicks her over. And he looks at her face and was like, so you're the mother of all dragons. So you're the reason of my sin. And he gets upset and he starts stomping her out. And I wasn't expecting this because I know it happened in the manga. And I thought they was going to censor it or not show it at all, basically here. But they actually showed it. It wasn't like in color, it was in black and white. But they actually show him stomping on the body over and over again. And blood and like pieces of the body flying. And I'm sorry, Ezra and Wendy on the back. And they're like, Wendy's crying and she's like, oh my god, she's sad. And when it comes to like Ezra, she doesn't have any emotions because she wasn't really attached to her mother. But at the end of the day, that's still her mother. So it's like she's conflicted. She doesn't know if she wants to feel bad for her because it's her mother. Even though it was just an enemy, she has fault. Should she not like do nothing? Like she looks very lost and conflicted. She's basically emotionless. It's Wendy who sits there crying and holding her mouth out of shockness. But this is going on. Then we get August and his battle continuation with Gildarts and Kana. And Kana brings up a very good point that you should not act like your guys are peaceful people, but all you do is conquer people, and you guys cause enough bloodshed on both sides, and it's time to end this because I'm tired of y'all. So she ends up actually using fairy glitter, and you can tell in Gildart's face, he's smiling and he's happy, like, wow, my daughter can actually use that. It wasn't explained here, but in the manga, from what we know, Kana can actually use fairy glitter now by herself. She doesn't need the permission or the transfer of Maris no more to use it. She can actually use it herself now. Sadly, because she can only use it once a day because it completely drains her. Just like how Great Ice Shield works. But, even if you get interrupted, you still lose all your mana for that day. So it's like, it works the same way. And she actually uses a full power version of fairy glitter on August. Sadly, as the master of all magic, he was actually able to tank it with no scratches, but she was super shocked and surprised, and so was Gildarts. Then he brings up an interesting question to both of them before the episode ends. He asks Kana, how do you feel about your father? Do you like him? And she pouts and she says, I don't care. And you have Gildarts being all sad and like, oh, come on, Kana, don't be like that. So then he turns to Gildarts and he's like, do you care about your daughter? And he's like, of course. And he was like, out of all the mastery I have done of magic, the one thing I couldn't understand or master is the relationship between a parent and their child. He was like, if I were to kill your daughter in front of you, what would you feel? And he smiled when he's saying this. And Gildarts, from laughing and smiling, he went super PO mode, and he was like, come again, what you said? And that's how the episode ended, with that epic face-off between Gildarts and August. So that was basically the end of the episode. If y'all don't know, episode 317, which is this episode, this was already the 40th episode so far out of all the episodes for Fairytail Final Season, which means we only have 12 left. Because Fairytail Final Season is supposed to be the shortest one. It's only 52 episodes, unlike the other two seasons which had 100 plus. So yeah, we only have 12 more until we end, sadly. And we're on the last three big fights. August versus Kana and her father Gildarts, Natsu versus Zeref, and Actilogia versus basically everybody. Since his goal is to kill everybody, especially the Dragon Slayers. They're the main priority. But yeah, this was a good episode again. It was more hype than anything, but there was some action, some really good action. And again, a lot of people like to bash Fairytail, but when it does something good, it's like nobody's around to like praise it. All you hear is crickets. So I know Fairytail is not the greatest, and I'm not saying that it is, but it's not absolute crap like everyone likes to put it down for. But yeah, these next 12 episodes since we have 3 fights in 12 episodes, most likely everything's gonna probably be divided by four episodes for Natsu versus Aerith, another 4 for the Grey End, for Gildarts and Kana versus August, and then the last 4 with the Actilogia. That's just my guess. That's how I'm dividing it. The last 12 episodes, I could be wrong. But how things are going now, can Wendy and Ezra do something to stop the Actilogia? Because you gotta think about it. He's stomping out the corpse of Irene. Do you think when he stops, he's just gonna like turn around and leave and not do nothing to them? When he's after all 7 Dragon Slayers and there's one right there behind him, one that's hurt and he doesn't have that much magic, so he can take advantage of at the same time. And there's a Fairytail member there, and he's not really interested in them either. So I was like, what are your opinions on that? Do you think Wendy and Ezra can somehow, I wouldn't say tangle with the Actilogia, because let's be honest, they can't. Even if they were at full power together, they shouldn't be able to tangle with the Actilogia. Even in his human form, they shouldn't be able to. If Serena got one shot and he couldn't, I highly doubt that anyone else in Fairytail except Gildarts and Natsu, who are the main protagonist / badass of the story, if basically those special characters couldn't do it, then who can? Because like I said, I don't think Ezra and Wendy are on that level yet. So, especially as the condition that they're in. So, and how do you feel about the Gildarts and Kana comment? Do you really think he's gonna kill Kana to piss off Gildarts? Do you think Hero will allow that? He probably will attack her, but I don't think it's gonna be a death blow. I think it's gonna be like what happened to Mary Jane, if you remember, how he attacked her and it looked like it went through the heart, but it actually curved and went around. So maybe he'll do something like that again to Kana to get Gildarts mad and see how he acts, since he's trying to understand how parents work with their children. And Zera versus Natsu. How do you guys think that's gonna turn out? Since Natsu was bodying him last time in the first fight, but that's when he had the power of Ignion. Now he has to use his regular power set. So how will that work out? Let me know down below what you like and didn't like, and how you feel about these 3 fights, and what you think is gonna go on, and how do you feel about the final season of Fairytail? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you wish can change? Do you think the ending would change and be a little bit different from how the manga ended? Because I heard rumors that might happen. Let me know how you guys feel about it. But that's all I have for you. Peace out and have a good one.